I have hated one man my whole life.
I know, and you were hating the wrong.
And he didn't deserve it. This man went to his grave.
You had the only thing.
This man went to his grave. I gotta process this moment. Because I'm processing a lie.
Yeah.
I'm processing a lie.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I have to go. Okay, I gotta go. Okay.
Okay.
I gotta go.
Okay, everyone, come on in, come on in. Thank you all for your continued support. Thank you for liking my videos, sharing my videos, and thank you to all my subscribers, international to domestic. Thank you so much. I need for you all to listen to this video. Yes, it's free. Listen to this video from beginning to end. Also drop some comments. Let's continue to engage in the comment section, everyone. You can see what this video is going to be about. Yes. Kirk Franklin and Kerry Washington. My parents lied to me. This one, you guys, is a doozy. I might keep you all long because this topic, I don't know if it's probably relatable to a lot of people in a sense, regardless of your background, but I know based off of experience that back then it seems as if parents had this lying, manipulative, deceptive spirit in them, and disguised as, oh, I'm just doing what's best for my child, meaning lying. That was the reasoning for the lies, the manipulations, the deception, the secrets, all of that. And I came from that era, so to speak. So, but yeah, this right here is I don't know if you all watched Kirk Franklin's documentary, and I'm going to dive into Kerry Washington after Kirk Franklin because both of their stories are similar in a sense. But head on over to Kirk Franklin's YouTube channel. I think that's where you can find a documentary only on his YouTube channel. Probably, if that's the case, because I was looking at Netflix and couldn't locate it. So if that's the case, it's probably because of the writer's strike and this and that. Have it on your own YouTube channel, which Kirk Franklin has over 1 million subscribers. So yeah. And he does have it where you can clip some videos and share it and all of that stuff. So as you heard in the beginning of that clip, whew, sheesh. I felt that, you guys. I really, really felt it in my soul, in my spirit. Living a lie. Kirk Franklin has been living a lie. It's a lot to process and unpack here, everyone. But yeah, he's been living a lie for what? About 53 years? So 53 years of lies. And that's his age, to my understanding. I felt the clip is definitely triggering for me. When parents lie and manipulate their kids, in my opinion, it's cringy. And I say that respectfully. I know parents do their best, but at the same time, I want to call out the BS. It's BS, meaning your intentions may mean well at that moment, but you're not thinking future-wise. You're not thinking longevity. You're just thinking about how to control the situation to make, and this is just my opinion, because I have a similar story as far as lies, not the exact same events, the details that happened with Kirk Franklin, but similar. So it's like you're doing it really for yourself. To me, that's the deep rooted issue. It's not even about really trying to protect the child at that moment or during that time. And like I said before, it's a disguise. You're disguising that. It's a mask. You're disguising your lies, your manipulation, your half-truths, all of that for yourself, basically, essentially. So I am a product of a lie and being manipulated by a parent when I was under 18 years old. I no longer hold a grudge or bitterness in my heart. I can confidently speak about it now because of therapy and most importantly, God, you guys, seriously. And I just became delivered from the negative emotions through therapy, through God, and meditation, and just being honest and real with self and my feelings and emotion and with that individual. But at the same time, if I hear of a similar story that someone experienced like mine, or for instance, Kirk Franklin, his story is not my events and details are not the exact same, but it was a lie. So I can relate in that sense, being lied and manipulated. But when I hear this, other people's individuals' experiences in this capacity, I still weep. My heart weeps for them. And it is borderline triggering. Not to say that like I said, I don't hold a grudge or anything, but it's still present in my heart and in my spirit. And not in a negative way, but just in a sorrow type of way, if that makes sense. But parents don't understand the damage that they do when they lie to their kids. It's unconscionable and often change the trajectory of someone's life, of the child's life, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and more, and not in a so good, pleasant way. So Kerry Washington, her story is similar, but not the exact same events. And when I read the article, because that's what I'm going to share with you guys, it was, oh my gosh, triggering for me. And my heart weeps for Kerry as well. This is a spoiler alert, you guys. It is. And as you saw in that clip, that scene was pretty much Kirk Franklin. I think he was on the phone with his mom or aunt. And he hadn't spoke to his mom, and I don't think about probably a couple decades now. And just think the trajectory is set and established for Kirk Franklin, this whole 53 years of lies. And to now really know, recently, this year, 2023, who your biological DNA father is. That's too much to process and unpack. Especially a person, a human being, an individual, especially when they yearned and wanted to know the truth, wanted to know their father because there was a missing piece in their life. See, parents, when they're making these decisions, the kids are under 18 and then they continue to lie throughout the child's adult life, they're not thinking. They're not thinking that this won't impact the child psychologically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. They're not thinking that this root issue, that this deception would trigger further relationships of dysfunction, conflict, strife, all of that. They're not thinking. They're thinking, the parents are thinking for themselves to protect themselves selfishly. In that moment. They're not thinking that making these decisions and choices for the child, for their child, regardless if they're a young adult, kid, teenager, whatever, making these decisions for them, they're not thinking longevity, long term, how this could impact possibly generations to come. So my heart weeps for Kirk Franklin, and this documentary, Father's Day, wow, is a must see. I cannot even begin to think or to process for him how he feels, although my situation is not exact to his, from the past. But it's interesting, and I'm trying to be as respectful as possible. Kirk Franklin's mom, it just seems like she's delusional to the fact that DNA is the DNA. And they did two, you guys. They did two DNAs because the mom rejected it. The mom rejected it. She basically says she rejected, she doesn't believe it. After a second DNA? This documentary was well put together. Kirk Franklin has an album coming out, I think in October. I think he's naming it Father's Day. And rightfully so. I will be purchasing it because I know it's going to be off the chain. I know it's going to be fire. And his story resonates with me in a sense. But I knew from my own experience with a situation similar to this that I wasn't going to repeat the cycle and do that to my kids or lie. So I vow to be as transparent as possible with my kids as they start to get older, you know. So I cannot imagine making certain choices for my kids that consciously, and when I say consciously, being in my right mind and capacity, making certain choices for my kids through a lie, through a manipulation, through deception, and thinking that that was okay. And I'm not here to judge no one or whatever, but it's just, it's cringy. It irritates me. It annoys me just to even think. And so I vowed to myself that I wouldn't do that with my kids. I wouldn't. What I experienced. Was I a perfect parent? Absolutely not. I was definitely not perfect. And there's no book on how to be a parent. Some hiccups as well. However, one thing's for certain, is communication with my kids and I, you know. So, but back to Kirk Franklin. Oh gosh. You guys just watch the documentary. Please do. Please do. This is not a promo or anything, but this is just life. Life is lifing for a lot of people. And I don't know, maybe this documentary could open up an opportunity for you, parents, to make it right. You know, maybe the story about Kerry Washington, because I believe Kerry Washington has a book now based off of the most recent events she discovered later on in life. So perhaps this could encourage or an opportunity to bridge the gap with parents to come together with their kids in a truthful manner, you know. So, but with Kirk Franklin, back to him, his relationship with his son was damaged and broken. He hadn't spoken to his son, and I seen his son, I think, how many years? I think about 10 years. He and his son going back and forth, you know, over social media. People just don't understand how, wow. So I was happy to see Kirk Franklin resolving his issues, the discrepancies, the conflict with his son, and his son being open and receptive to it based off of this information, because he broke into his son too. Yes, Kirk Franklin went to his son and let him know who his biological grandfather was. Mind you, Kirk Franklin's mom is still denying it. You heard Kirk Franklin. She had him thinking it was someone else, and he was angry at that person, that man, that individual, and that was wrong. Whew, sheesh. So, but yeah. Have you all ever experienced anything like this? If you want to share, or you know someone, drop a comment. You know, you may hear story time, and that's me connecting to the topic at hand, but it's therapeutic, all of that. And I think speaking about it, you just never know, someone else probably experienced the same thing. So, and that could help everyone. You know, you just never know how your story could possibly help someone. And Kirk Franklin, I believe his story is going to open a lot of wounds. Subsequently, people will be healed and whole again best as possible, you know. Kirk Franklin's mom still does not believe, I don't know if she does not believe that right now as of today in September, the month of September, but it's just because he just recently found out this year, according to the documentary, who his biological father was. And his biological father, you guys, is well off career-wise, as far as retirement, beautiful home. He has a wife. He took this news. He was really emotional about the results. Franklin and him, they share some strong similarities in their looks. They do. So, yeah. And then also, too, I like that Kirk Franklin's father basically said he's going to give Kirk Franklin time. Like, his door is open, but it's a lot to unpack and process. He wants to meet his grandson. Oh my goodness, it's just so, oh my gosh, y'all. It's just an amazing documentary. I don't know if other cultures experience this. I know in the Black community, it happens often. Well, back then, I don't know what's going on now. But how you can be in a community and living in a, tight-knit community, and the guy, we're going to say, for example purposes, the Johnsons live right down the street, and Mr. Johnson has a whole family around the corner. Doesn't really have anything to do with the kids, though. But he dips in and out for his, I guess, side piece, quote unquote. So it's just, and then people in the community know this. To speak to Kirk Franklin's situation, That's how it seemed like it happened, because Kirk Franklin was like, I think his studio is right down the street from his biological father's home. And also too, when how all this unveiled is that his biological father was at a funeral. Somebody, I think, every mutual, somebody from his family saw him, or somebody that Kirk Franklin knew saw him, or whatever, and was like, wow, it was rumors going around that he was possibly the father of Kirk Franklin. And Kirk Franklin's biological father, he didn't know then that he was his biological father, but he was open to, because the person approached him and was rumors, this and that, etc. So, and I'm paraphrasing you guys, that was Kirk Franklin's father, and that he had dealt with Kirk Franklin's mom. And the dad was, I'm open to whatever, the DNA test, and go from there, So, and it sounds like the dad, he did say too, he like really didn't remember, and he probably did. Franklin's biological mom is probably confused or didn't really remember. Who knows what happened back then? It probably was a one-night stand. It probably was not something super consistent, or it probably was something on the low. But nevertheless, he was definitely receptive and open, respectfully, and like, okay, I think he said he had been with her, but I don't think he remembered hearing rumors that he had a child or something like that. That's what it was, you guys. So, but just watch the documentary. I'm going off of memory, and don't quote me on everything. So, but yeah, so he ended up taking a DNA himself and sent it in or whatever, and Kirk did his. And that clip I just played in the beginning, that's what happened. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and go over to the clip.
That I have hated one man my whole life.
I know, and you were hating the
And
wrong.
he didn't deserve it. This man went to his grave.
You had only the
This
information.
man went to his grave. I gotta process this moment. Because I'm processing a lie.
Yes,
I'm processing a lie.
yes.
I gotta go. I have to go. Okay, I gotta go. Okay. I gotta go.
Woo, you guys, I had to play that again. That scene right there it's a lot to process. I totally agree. He said he's processing a lie. He's processing a lie. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Wow. It's the audacity for me when it comes to the mom continuing to go on with the lie, or not taking accountability or responsibility. And I definitely can relate in that sense, because when I wanted to go ahead and really truly buckle down and get past what took place with me, same similar situation, lie, manipulation, I approached the individual parents, and the parent did not receive it well, and basically made it about them, which solidified what I'm saying now. Made it about them. And I was just like taken aback, and I'm like, the audacity. But I took and it was really twisting my heart just having this conversation, and to be on the receiving end of the no accountability, the making it about them and not me. And just so much more. So took it like a G. A tough cookie. And taking it and just having that conversation and being able to express myself very detailed, I walked away delivered from it. I did. And shout out to the therapist who helped me through that, in terms of reaching out and just having that tough conversation, because we never had that tough conversation. And the person did apologize somewhat, I guess. But at this point, apology can't correct what's happened. Let me go ahead and share this article with you guys about Kerry Washington. Very profound, very interesting. It's probably triggering for some as well, because you may have experienced this or be experiencing this. But let me go ahead and share this article, and I'll come back with more of my commentary, reaction, and opinion. Okay, you guys. According to HollywoodReporter.com, Kerry Washington reveals finding your roots led to discovery she was conceived through a sperm donor. The Scandal actress says she's had difficult conversations with her parents about the revelation that helped explain a weird disconnect she's had with her father. I will be forever grateful to Skip Gates. This article was posted on September 24th. I'm going to go over some excerpts and then you can come back here and go over the entire article in its entirety and just, soak it up and read it at your leisure. Kerry Washington says her feelings of not quite belonging in her family that she's had since childhood were a result of a long hidden secret that she was conceived using a sperm donor. The actress opened up about the revelation in new interviews with the New York Times and People, tied to the release of her upcoming memoir, Thicker Than Water. Interesting title. I like it though. Out on September 26th, actually, which is today. The memoir was initially the suggestion of friend and Scandal boss Shonda Rhimes years ago, with Washington admitting that at the time she had this nagging feeling she didn't quite know herself well enough to pull it off. Now, Thicker Than Water dives deep on her educational and performance journeys, but also more difficult topics like her various mental health conditions, depression and eating disorder, and insomnia, as well as the shocking revelation that her father is not her biological parents. So you guys, this is a different situation than what Kirk Franklin went through, as you can see, because Kerry Washington was conceived through sperm donor process. So this is a bit different, and I don't know how that process works as far as confidentiality and all of that, or the logistics behind it, but let me continue with this article. That was something she discovered after wrapping her seventh season as the lead of ABC hit Scandal and deciding to dig into her past. With the help of Henry Louis Gates Jr. hosted PBS series Finding Your Roots. That's who she gave a shout out to in the beginning of this article. She went to collect DNA spit samples for the show in 2018. Her mother and father had noticeable hesitation. I said, I just don't think they're going to agree to it. My dad's really uncomfortable, she recalled. But Gates went to speak to her parents, Valerie, a professor, and Earl, a real estate agent, privately, which is when they asked about whether the possibility that Washington not being their biological child would come up in the testing. The actress said, in response, Gates suggested that they have conversations about the nature of Washington's lineage with them while they were still alive. I've always had this weird disconnect with my dad, but I thought that was my fault. I wasn't a kind enough person. But the idea that I was not his never occurred to me. It was just, why can't I be better to him? Why can't we be closer? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with us? She said. The Emmy-winning actress shared that she had mixed feelings once learning the truth, including liberation and excitement, but there were also feelings of guilt because I could see how much pain my parents were in, my dad in particular, and resentment. Oh, wow. Oof, sheesh. She told People, noting that her feelings of not belonging led to her eating disorder, anxiety, and self issues. So, okay, you guys, and this is what I was just stating a little earlier. Sometimes with secrets and things of this nature, although Kerry Washington's is a bit different, it seems like human nature where something like this can impact the trajectory of a child's life as they grow into adulthood and young adult to adulthood. So Kerry Washington is basically citing that she just always seems she always felt, and I'm just paraphrasing, these are not her words, really odd about a lot of things within her life. So, which led to her situations occurring in her life adverse to her being. So, let me continue. Washington, who said her mother planned to tell her by leaving a note in a safe deposit box, likened the discovery while speaking to the Times to wandering through a library looking for a book about herself before her parents. The librarians told her, "There's a room we haven't shown you." I was birthed into a lie. Ooh, sheesh. I was playing a supporting character in my parents' story, she added. I know that their intention was to protect me, to love me, to take care of me. to help to keep my world simple. I get many years of not telling me, but I've been an adult for over 2 decades. Wow. My heart weeps for Kerry Washington. Washington has attempted to locate her biological father, but according to the Times, despite her best efforts, there remains no way to determine his identity. She also shared that at one point she tried to give the publisher, Little Brown Spark, their money back as the book she pitched was no longer the book she could write. The actress told People her decision to include the revelation in her memoir has been a difficult one for her parents, though they generally support her. Washington's father, according to the New York Times, has also been processing the situation with her husband. In one conversation, Washington even told her dad, "I'm not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You're my dad. Now, when I say I love you, it's not because of you're pretending to be in my life. It's because who you are." That's heartfelt. She also says she will be forever grateful to Skip Gates and what she learned through her experience with his show. "I'm still missing the piece of not knowing where half of my biology comes from." She at least have any of the wrong pieces in the puzzle anymore. Okay, everyone, there you have it. Actually, I went over the entire article, but you can head on over there and go over it at your leisure as well. So, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Kerry Washington's experience regarding her parents lied to her? In that situation, I don't know. I really can't speak to that because, like I said, I don't know that process. I don't know if it's paperwork that you sign that you don't reveal unless the child is a certain age, or I don't know. I don't know how to kind of feel about this, but I do know with it being a lie, and these are her words, she was living a lie, and now knowing the truth, this is a lot to process as well for her. So, and there's still probably a lot of healing going on because she did experience a lot of emotional and mental issues, thinking that having that intuition that something was there, and voila, finding out her dad is not her biological father, and all along she had this nagging sense like something's just not right. So I can only imagine how Kerry Washington is feeling as of today, and I'm quite sure there's healing to be done, to be had for all parties involved. But has anyone ever experienced this in terms of being a product of child or individual who was born through sperm donorship? I wonder how that goes. Feel free to share your story in the comment section if you would like to, or if you know someone. But this right here was interesting. However, it's emotionally charged as well and triggering because in this instance, her parents were doing what was best because she was conceived through sperm donorship. So with something like this, in my opinion, depending on the paperwork and how this process goes, perhaps maybe it wasn't a lie, so but she's here, she's beautiful, successful. But on the flip side, she's experienced, and probably still is, and she's experienced and currently experiencing issues behind this. So kudos to Kerry Washington for being vulnerable and kind of scraping her original book idea. It had to go back and incorporate this, and it changed the trajectory. But again, this conversation can open up with her sharing. This conversation can open up this topic to the world, and maybe it could help someone in life. So, but I'm going to go ahead and run a poll and head on over to my community section. Let me know your thoughts, everyone. And again, check out that Kirk Franklin's documentary. It's epic, in my opinion. It's epic. And check out Kerry Washington's book, her memoir. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Again, share. I'm comfortable enough doing so. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.